All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. As promised, I told y'all we had a very important guest today. Memphis Mayoral candidate Paul Young is in the building.
What up? What up?
Paul
what
Young,
up?
what's going on, my brother?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good, man. We had this conversation many months ago. I want you to come on, man. You kept your word. You rock with me, man.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you, man. You took a picture with my son, also a future mayor of Memphis, Gabriel Sain.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, my man Gabe, man. My man Paul Young in the building. Appreciate you. Paul, starting off, okay, I tell you what. We're going to talk a little politics.
All right.
We're going to talk a little sports. Now, they say you're not supposed to mix the two. But we're going to do it today, man.
This life. In life, you mix them. So
there you go. There you go. Let's get it. All right, Paul, as everyone knows, you are one of several, honestly, probably too many candidates running for mayor.
Yeah, too many somebody.
Right. What do you think makes you stand out amongst the crowd of people that are running?
My authenticity, because I'm in this for pure reasons, man. I don't need the job. I'm running because I'm prepared for the job. I'm really doing this because I feel like I've been training for this opportunity my whole career. I'm a city planner, so I literally went to school to figure out how do you build a great city and neighborhoods and communities, and that's what I've been doing the last 20 years, and I feel like Memphis deserves to have somebody from that type of background. We never have before. And, you know, I just feel like and I represent this next generation. It's time for us to not move with politics as usual. Right. It's time for us to do something different. It's time for the younger generation to begin leading. And it's not just enough to be young. You got to be young and prepared. Right. And that's what I am.
I hear you, man, for sure. Well, how many people are there running exactly?
17 people in the race total.
That's a lot of people, man.
A lot of people. But, man, I stay focused. I don't even,
you worry about it.
Don't even matter.
Right. Okay, so who you think just need to go and quit, man? Because just eating up, just splitting the vote
all
about it.
I think all of them should quit except for me. But, you know, I do get it, man. Yeah. You know, people, this is the first non-incumbent election in 51 years. Yeah. So I'm not surprised that there's a lot of people in the race. But it's up to me to make sure I stand out. And so I'm always showing up. And we always represent. Every event that we come to, we coming strong. We're giving great energy because I feel like I said again, I represent what the city needs right now. I represent what the people want right now. And so I just had to keep proving it.
I got you. Well, I'm going to say this, number 8 through 15 or 17, I don't know. Might be time for you to go on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you...
Oh, man. Well, I grew up in Memphis as well. Me and you the same age. We talked off camera and found it out. I was in elementary school when former Mayor Harrington was elected. 90-something.
Yep, 1991.
Yeah, I'm 43 years old, so I think I was maybe in 4th, 5th grade when he was elected as mayor of Memphis. And, you know, Mayor Harrington had his good, his bad. You know, we all rock with Mayor Harrington for sure. My thing is now, I'm like, all right, Mayor Harrington, man. I appreciate you, man. I respect you. Me personally, this is just Anthony Sain speaking as a voter, as a citizen of Memphis. My thing is, I would prefer that Mayor Harrington endorse someone else or groom someone else instead of actually being in the race.
Agreed.
And I've also noticed that he's not participating in any debates at all. Like
I mean, he the OG. He don't have to.
Right.
I mean,
So
he the OG. We know who he is. People know his name. So I understand his perspective. And I would too hope that he would mentor someone or share the knowledge and insights. But you know, he is who he is.
For sure.
My goal is just beat him. And when I beat him, he'll still be a mentor. I'll ask him if he's willing to support. I mean, but I just had to prove it, and that's what I'm out to do.
I'm with you for sure. What's a common criticism that people say about Paul Young or something negative they may say, and what do you have to say in response to that?
They say too young if they're from the older generation, and the response is, well, line us up and ask us any question. Just that simple. Because I'm not that young. I'm 43. Grown man that's been working for the last 20 years.
I feel old when we the same age.
Yeah, we old, man. We old now.
I wake up everything hurts.
So, you know, I've heard the I'm too young. Certainly there are those that love to throw this card saying that I'm a Republican, which they know I'm not. Me, just like millions of Democrats across the country, have voted in Republican primaries, not the general, Republican primaries, to make a selection on the other side of the ledger. But to that, I just say we too focused on stuff that don't matter.
Right.
Because none of that matters. I'm a Democrat, and I lead with that. But at the end of the day, Democrats been in office, Republicans been in office. When I go to the hood, the result is the same. So what we talking about? Like, who's going to get the job done for Memphis?
Yeah.
Those are the things that I think we need to be talking about. But, you know, it's a distraction that people use because they feel this momentum and energy, and they want to figure out how to stop it.
Man, I feel you 100 on that. Speaking of momentum and energy, and speaking of the hood, Paul Young, what we doing about the Kia boys and the Hyundai boys? If you were in always, I'll be real. This question wouldn't have mattered to me about a week ago.
Right.
But the Hyundai boys got me. They got me.
They got me a little while ago. So,
man, what we gonna do about our people, man?
You know, when it comes to breaking into cars, those tend to be the young people.
Right.
That, you know, they want to go in, find a gun, maybe they steal a car and take it to a chop shop. At the end of the day, we got to hold them accountable, particularly if you've done it multiple times. Then we had to find some solutions that's going to take you out of circulation for a little while. But we also have to double down on this intervention side of things. Man. It's like these young people are crying out for hope. They're crying out for answers. When they're breaking into these cars, that's a plea for help. And I believe that we know who the young people are that are headed down the wrong path, whether they've broken into one car and gotten in trouble. We should be targeting interventions, opportunities to those young people so that they make up their mind that that's not the path. And I think we wait too long. We wait till we have to hold them accountable on the other side and lock them up for a while instead of investing some dollars now to prevent them from taking that next step down the wrong path.
Man, you speaking my language now, man, because the two guys that you met when you came in, Kenny Stubblefield, our executive producer, and Perry Sharkey, our associate producer for the Bluff City Media, all three of us have backgrounds in working with young kids in the inner city. Like this, everything we talk about, we can always take it back to those type of measures, man. And with that being said, like I said, I'm a big advocate for mentorship. Even this Michael Orr stuff, we're spending it in that direction, talking about the kids we worked with in the inner city. And I know your father, Bishop William Young. I know that's one of his passions as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
How much do you think that strong mentorship can really affect the crime problem here in the city?
Oh, it's the answer. It's the answer. I mean, when we find mentors that can truly connect to the people that are committing these crimes, it's a game changer. It's one thing to have people that come in and say, boy, you got to do better and you need to do this so you can get. Yeah,
show
I hear you, but
though,
have you show me how?
Put some hands on.
If nobody in their life has ever told them this is something you can do, they don't even know the realm of possibilities. And so when you have mentors that come from the same or similar backgrounds, they can connect with them in a different way that's showing them opportunities. Man, that's a game changer. Yeah,
for sure. I'm with you totally on that. You speaking my language for sure, and I know Kenny behind the glass is really probably jumping up and down as well. Your father also was a big advocate for mental health.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in the African-American community. And with us, man, you know, we think we got the answers. We think we found the solution and everything. Yeah. And they say we're probably the most traumatized race, but the most under counseled or, receiving therapy. You see these kids, man, and they're traumatized. You talk to kids who their story is horrible. They've seen terrible things at young ages, man. Going back to Michael Orr again, looking at his story, the things he went through as a young man, seeing death early, seeing poverty early, worrying about how you're going to eat. Those things all cause mental damage as well.
No question, man.
And it's things that he's still trying to process as an adult. How does that part
man, that's top of the list for me. Yeah. I was at a meet and greet that we had the other night. Actually, it was a couple of weeks ago, and there was a young lady that asked me a question about mental health and where it ranked for me. And I was telling her that's at the top of the list because we don't realize how much trauma we go through. Even like our age bracket. You 43, man. Just like me. So you grew up in the 90s. Yeah. By the time I was 21, I probably had 5, 6 friends that had been shot and killed that I knew.
Facts.
And I grew up with my mom and dad in a good household. 5 or 6 people that I knew that were my friends were shot and killed. You know how traumatic that is?
Yeah.
Like, if you live in other communities, that is so far from what is normal. Right. In our community, that's the norm.
Yeah.
We used to that. These kids are walking around with that on their back. Their uncles are getting killed. Their cousins getting killed. Their friends are getting killed. They're living in a world where this is the norm. that is just automatic trauma. And if we have ways to get, like one of the things I did when I was growing up, actually not when I was growing up, I was grown. I became a peer advocate liaison where I was a peer counselor with people that were going through different issues. It was just that simple. I didn't have degrees and certifications. We just sat down and talked, and it changed people's lives.
Yeah,
like, we need to be implementing strategies like that allow people to get off some of the hurt and pain, because what's happening is it's balled up and they're taking it out on others.
Yeah, man, it's solid stuff you're saying for sure, man. It sounds like what you're saying is that we have to give our youth some hope.
Absolutely, that's the answer.
We have to shed some light for them.
Man, that's the answer. It's not rocket science.
Right. But in order to shed that light, Mr. Young, they got to have their lights on. Because, you know, in Memphis, when it rain outside. Or, you know.
I get you. Yeah, you switching the infrastructure. All right, I got you.
So how we gonna keep these lights on?
How we gonna keep them on?
Paul,
well, I mean, you know, not to get too I'm an electrical engineer, so I can go deep on it. But
that's the guy there.
At the end of the day, I mean, we're gonna have to invest some money. There's dollars that have been allocated to start trimming the trees, so the trees don't fall on the power lines every time it rains.
Yeah.
We're going to have to invest some more dollars to strengthen the poles, because, you know, we got a lot of wood poles which snap in the storms.
Right.
You make them steel poles, they'll stay up and they'll be stronger. Move some lines underground.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a process. We have neglected investing in these things for many, many years. And it's going to take some time before we get it where it needs to be.
Another major issue is lack of education, lack of resources, which ultimately leads to poverty.
Yeah, no question.
You go to schools in South Memphis. I worked in schools in South Memphis. Kenny worked in schools in South Memphis. You see a great disparity from the kids from kids across town or kids in the suburbs or whatever. How do we kind of balance that? And also, how can we bring more resources to the city as far as new companies, new businesses, jobs, etc.?
Yeah, so on the education side, it's really a matter of the city stepping up and being a partner with the Memphis and Shelby County school system. A lot of people get caught up in, is the city going to put dollars into the Memphis and Shelby County school budget? Whether or not that happens is irrelevant. The city should be investing in those same young people that are going to school every day. We should be investing alongside education. Memphis and Shelby County Schools has our young people from 7 to 3. We, as a city, should be investing in those young people from 3 to 7. You know, when they leave that building, what programs are they walking into? What after-school care? What churches are available in that area, in that zip code that can serve those kids? And so that's my goal, is to make sure that we are a true partner. You asked about something else in there too.
Bringing better jobs.
Better jobs.
Yeah.
Better jobs means we lean into the jobs of the future. What these companies are looking for are workers, employees, a skilled workforce, people that have the skills of the future. So if we're moving into advanced manufacturing, now that we got Blue Oval City right down the street, we should be training for those jobs in high school, just like at East High School where I graduated from. Yeah. They now have a airplane mechanic program where you can go to school there and focus on aviation and leave and go to FedEx and get a job making $70,000 a year out of high school.
Exactly.
Like, that's game changing.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with you, man. I like a lot of what you're saying, for sure.
Anthony, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Mr. Young, this question hits home to me.
Right.
I know I'm kind of in the ghost or the voice of God coming in your ears.
I don't see you.
Yeah. So Anthony's mentioned a couple of times that we've had the opportunity to work in, South Memphis schools. And
man.
I have a son who is 9 years old who was diagnosed on the spectrum when he was 5 years old, and has been in a school system that has allowed for a lot of individual education plans and IEP meetings and things like that for him to help him be able to grow and kind of work through some of the issues that will help him become a productive member of society.
Right.
And one of the things that hit me as I was in those meetings with, his school system was a lot of the same things that I see in him at that age were some of the same things that I was seeing in kids in South Memphis that I was working with.
Yeah.
Without the opportunity, a lot of these kids didn't have the same expertise around them to be able to diagnose, to be able to set individual education plans, things like that. And I know as the mayor of Memphis, you have a lot on your plate, but in terms of like one of the things that I've seen with that is a lot of these kids that grow up that are now in the system and that are in, that have a record or have issues that they've gone through, if they had been able to be helped early on the way that my son is being helped right now, I feel like there would be a lot less issues for those kids. They wouldn't be automatically brought into the system and have a record and not be able to have a good job or whatever's out there for them. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that in terms of, working with the school systems, working with, as the future mayor of Memphis, what do you see? Is that an important thing for you to look into?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we have to find ways to meet all of our young people where they are. What are the ways to get the resources to our young folks so that they can learn in the best manner possible for them, regardless of what the issue is that they're working on? I certainly don't have all the expertise that, folks that work in the school system and deal with these challenges each day. But my goal is to make sure that as city mayor, if there are programs that we can help fund, if there are ways for us to leverage our government structure to support the young people in our community, I want to find ways to do it. And, I've always been one to admit when I'm not the expert in the room, and I'm not an expert in that space, but I have kids. I know what I would want for my kids, and I want the same for everyone's kids.
Yeah, good stuff. Appreciate you, Kenny. That was good stuff, man. Kenny, stop with
good stuff.
Hey, thank you, man.
Oh, you good,
say the voice went away.
The voice went away.
No voice. Man.
I was muted. I didn't know I was muted. My bad.
Oh, man. We talked a lot about mentorship earlier in the segment, and sometimes some adults need mentors as well.
We do.
John Morant.
My guy. I love
John Morant, man. Oh, yeah, John. We're pulling for John for sure, man.
Definitely.
This show has been one of the more positive shows as far as the whole John Morant situation is concerned. With that being said, I know you're a sports fan. I know you can speak on this as well. The Grizzlies brought in Marcus Smart. They brought in Derrick Rose. Yeah. Two vets, OGs.
Two vets.
You know what I mean? How do you think that's going to impact Ja this season?
I think it'll be great for Ja. I mean, I think Ja's going to be focused, man. I mean, he has a chip on his shoulder now. He has something to prove. I mean, he did what young people do, man. Yeah. We didn't grow up in a world
with cameras
where we pick up the phone and everything we're doing, we're talking about. We're showing everybody.
And we definitely weren't born into that.
Yeah, we weren't born into that. Like, they've been born in a world where that's ever since he was 10, they've had a phone and they show off and do silly stuff because that's just what they do. But now you're 23 and the world is watching everything that you tweet, even your friends tweet.
Right.
And so, I'm rooting for him. I think he's going to do well anyway, even if they weren't here. But bringing in Marcus Smart, Derrick Rose, who, Derrick and Ja have similar games, at least Derrick in his prime and Ja right now in his prime. I mean, I think their games are similar. So I think they'll mesh very, very well.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be tight, man.
We get a good, strong wing player in there with them. They're gonna be a force.
They're gonna be tough. Be tough for sure. The Grizzlies, of course, were not here when we were kids.
No.
But we both were hoops fans back in the days.
Definitely.
What did your sports fandom look like before the Grizzlies came to town in all sports? Like,
man, I just love basketball.
Yeah.
Like I was what I call myself, a church league legend.
Yeah.
I didn't play for the team. But I played a lot of intramural basketball. But my team was Indiana Pacers because I still remember when Reggie Miller cut up on the New York Knicks and gave the throat choke sign to Spike Lee in the front row in the playoffs. He hit the 8 points in 20 seconds, something like that. So that was my squad. But I just love basketball, man. NBA is where it's at.
Yeah, I grew up. I used to like Reggie too, man. Like he was. Yeah, Reggie was
that heart. It was just heart.
He wasn't afraid of Jordan, man.
He wasn't afraid of anybody. And I mean, he couldn't.
Jordan cook him sometimes. But
his handles weren't crazy. His defense wasn't great. He'll shoot your lights out, but he just played hard.
Right. And I know you thought we were done with political talk.
But, man, I can mix it up, bro. I have range.
I got a good one for you. There's some state funding allocated to the city of Memphis for our arenas, stadiums, etc.
$350 million.
Yep. There's a lot of talk about that. This might be the question of the hour. Where do you sit? Because you got a lot of people waiting on this question. You got your Tiger fans, you got Grizzly fans tuning in. Where do you sit as far as those funds and the allocation is concerned?
I mean, I want to see the Tigers. The Grizzlies and the Tigers are top of the list. I think the Grizzlies have to be at the top because, we need that NBA team.
Mm-hmm.
We need to make sure that they stay here. I'd love to see us find a balance where we can get both things done.
Yeah.
And the Tigers are super important. They've been here. They were here before the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
They've been, the root of our inspiration for many years with Memphis State and all that we've done, from back in the day. So, I mean, it's a math equation. It's like, how do you make the math work? Stadiums are expensive, and it's going to take a lot of work, and just got to get in the room and
everybody, all the adults got to get in the room.
All the adults got to get in the room, and then we have to be creative. I mean, you can find some other creative sources. You can do seat taxes and other fees that allow for you to be able to, get this thing financed on both sides.
Another big topic of conversation is conference realignment. Right now, University of Memphis is on the outside looking in as far as it's concerned. Do you think that the U of M sports can still thrive and the city will still care about those entities over there if we are, 3 or 4 years still on the outside looking in?
Well, I mean, we've been sustaining and we've been doing well without being in those conferences, but I do think that we should continue to push to make that happen.
Yeah.
We have a major league team, and we want to make sure we're treated as such.
Right.
And unfortunately, the only way to get that treatment is to get into a larger conference. And I think we should continue to ambition towards it, whether it takes us next year or 5 years from now. We need to keep pushing.
Yeah, I like how you said how we've been sustaining all this time. We're so deep rooted.
Yeah.
Tigers are so deep rooted in us,
Right.
man.
That's our squad.
Yeah, if we're playing whoever, we're still gonna care. We're still gonna have that passion.
Right.
So,
If you're the next mayor of Memphis, you're obviously going to be in those meetings with those conference heads.
Yeah.
Those TV executives that are kind of running this whole thing. What's your pitch? Like, take us into that room.
Yeah.
What's
How
your
you
pitch to
selling
those guys? How do you sell University of Memphis and the city of Memphis as a whole?
I think the way we sell it is they don't realize how much Memphis loves our team. They don't realize how deep the blue blood runs in our community.
Yeah.
Like, they're used to these college towns that have these rampant fans because, they went to Duke and, that's just what it is. They don't realize that Memphis, our love is just as big.
Right. We didn't even have to go to the school. We treat it like a pro team.
You're going to get the numbers. I mean, because for them, it's all about numbers. Like, will we get enough fans in the seats? Will we get enough views on TV?
Yeah.
And we had to drive home that point. You're going to have it with Memphis. You just have to come and feel this energy. Come and feel how much the people of Memphis love these teams.
Yeah.
And that's the root of the sale. And then you're gonna have the economic factors and making sure they know that they're gonna make their money.
Yeah. You mentioned the Grizzlies earlier, how they're, of course, priority number one, being the pro team here. Their negotiations gonna have to come up soon about their next lease on their deal. How confident are you that we'll get that done?
I'm very confident. I believe that we'll be able to get it done. I mean, I work with the Grizzlies quite a bit. I'm the president of Downtown Memphis Commission.
Okay.
I know that they love Memphis, and it's still a numbers game. It's business, and so we want to make sure that the business points are checked. But I think that we'll get it done. I mean, as a city, it's great to have an NBA team because we are in a national competition for talent.
Yeah.
And so if you are a major company and you're trying to recruit talent, you need to be able to impress upon them that they're going to be moving to a cool city.
Yeah.
So the Grizzlies help us demonstrate the cool. It gives us quality of life enhancement. And so that's why these sports teams are part of the broader goal of being able to grow our economy. So people talk bad about being able to invest in stadiums, and I get it because we have so many pressing needs, but it's not either or, it's both and.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. With the talent that the Grizzlies have, John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bain, they've definitely got a championship formula going over there. Nice front office. You've met with these guys before. So when we had that championship parade, like, what does that championship parade look like to you?
Beale Street.
Okay.
I mean, we're on Beale Street. We take it all the way down to the riverfront. We go from Tom Lee Park all the way up to Church Park.
Okay.
And, take Beale Street. But we're going to get that parade. And, we have a squad. I mean, I hate that Adams was out during the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think the complexion of the game would have been a lot different.
Yeah, man.
If you would have had Adams and Triple J down there, both on the board.
Brandon Clark, too.
Brandon Clark.
Yeah.
So injuries hurt us last season. But, we're young, and our window is still open. And,
For sure.
and we are a legit threat anytime we're on the court. And so we want to keep that title.
you talked about how there's a partnership, like how the University of Memphis and the Grizzlies have to, they're all a draw to the city. They all make the city look good. Coach Penny Hardaway, the team he's putting together this year, we were worried about his recruiting class and like he's signing these major guys.
Nah, Penny's a stud, man. Yeah. He gets it done, man. He went through some fire at the beginning, because Memphis, we hard on our folks. Even if you're from here, we hard. But he showed improve. Like once you show improve, we'll shut up. Yeah. But he had to prove it to us, and cuss some folks out, and now we good.
Right.
And he doing his thing, so we support him.
It's kind of like how you were saying about people say you're too young. Like Penny had to learn on the job. He had to take a few lumps, but he got it. Yeah, now he has a machine, and I feel like last season was probably his best season. Coaching wise,
coaching wise, like you could see the growth over the few years that he's been there, and so I had the utmost faith in him.
All right, final question for you, Paul Young, mayoral candidate for the Memphis election coming up very soon. Make sure y'all get out and vote. Make sure y'all early voting coming up soon.
September 15th.
There it is. Get in line, man.
Yeah,
I'm an early voting guy, man.
Yeah, me too.
I don't even know where to vote. Yeah. To be honest with you, I always go to early voting because you can vote anywhere.
Right,
so,
right. That's the way to do it.
There it is. But final question for you, Mr. Young. What is your favorite local sports memory that you remember from your childhood, adulthood, recent, whatever?
Favorite or worst? Because I got the worst.
Yeah, okay. What
the
is
worst was that's the one that jumped in my mind. Even though it's not my favorite, was when we lost in 2008. Man, I've never ever been hurt like that over a sports game. Like my feelings were hurt.
We were grown ass men.
man, what you said. Yeah. I mean, for at least 2 months, I couldn't even watch Sports Center.
Yeah.
Because of the pain I felt of being so high. 2 minutes before the game ended, or we thought it was going to end.
Pre-celebrated championship.
To the gasp at the end when we went to overtime. So that was probably the worst. In terms of the best, I mean, it's not a one time. It's just the Grizzlies playoffs, man. The Grizz playoff seasons are they're just magic, man. Yeah, it's an amazing feeling in the city. It just feels so good when you're in the stadium. You don't know the person next to you, white, black. You can be Republican, Democrats. You don't know who's who. But you just slapping fives.
Y'all out.
We all out there. We all out there. And so, you just team Memphis. And
for sure, man.
I just love that energy.
For sure. But, man, Paul, I appreciate you coming on with me, brother,
yes,
man.
Sir.
You kept your word. You said you're going to come on and you hear it.
Absolutely,
I appreciate you,
man.
It's my man, Paul Young.
Yes, sir.
Get out and vote. I ain't going to tell you to vote for, but we got a good candidate sitting here.
September 15th through September 30th, and then October 5th. Make sure you vote.
Yeah, make sure y'all do that. About to take a break. When we come back, the 3-pointers coming right at you on the Anthony Sain Show. See you guys in a minute.